What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Sideline to Baseline with your host MB and K. Lou. What's going on, y'all?
What's up?
Hey, we got Orlando in the building.
Coach O.
Coach extraordinaire. If you see, talent scout, you know what I mean? NBA talent scout, he gonna teach us about that pick and roll everybody talking about as if we ran it our whole life. Like we actually ran the pick and roll. Like they present it like it's new. And I think two Hall of Famers made a career out of the pick and roll. You know, Mr. John Stockton and Karl Malone. So I'm really confused by all this pick and roll talk, Orlando.
Well, I mean, it is an old action in the NBA, but you know, in today's game, it's so much harder to defend because you got so many other shooters on the floor, and it spreads the floor. Like back in the day, when you were describing the positions, and you had the three-man was a slasher, and you had the two bigs inside. When you run the pick and roll back in the day, you could zone the floor up. And you didn't have to worry about the shooters and guys making threes. Now, when you run the pick and roll, the floor is stretched so wide. The pick and roll, excuse me. The floor is stretched so wide, and so it's just really hard to defend, man. And Chris Paul has really made it. He's been unbelievable with it, you know, this year.
Sure, you and Trae Young too, right?
Well, yeah, Trae as well.
Right.
Well, I think that's a whole nother sports topic. When I just heard you say old school zoned it up, that old school, that was called the legal defense zoned it up. New school, you actually can play a zone.
Right.
So
yeah, they were.
That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, they were very savvy in how they did it, but they really zoned it up.
Did it? Yeah.
So look here, guys. It was a big, huge news, a huge letdown for us here in the U.S., who was rooting for, obviously, our Olympic team, and Sha'Carri Richardson is a no-go, test positive for THC. So, dang, she's out of the Olympics. She was a 100-meter final, 100-meter gold Olympic hopeful. She ran 10:63. 11:63, right?
No, 10:8.
No, 10:63. My bad. 10:64. Shelly Ann Frazier out of Jamaica ran 10:63 to beat that time. All of them. I'm gonna tell y'all. See, people forget this, but now when I say the time again, it hits reality because they're saying they're freakish at 10:63, 10:64. Shelly Ann Frazier, and Sha'Carri Richardson. However, FloJo 10:49, y'all. You just look at you like what? No, man. Yeah, 10:49. Wow. That's what FloJo did. It'll be
back in the day.
Hey, it'll be how many of us she was beating? She got me. Ain't never run 10.5 in high school.
Child, please, no, she
had.
Hey. So listen, when you now, I'm dating myself right here. So when you said the number, the 10.6, I said to myself, well, I mean, I ran a 10.8, but I ran 100 yards.
Exactly.
I ran
100 meters.
Exactly.
Yeah, you dating yourself. It was 100 meters by the time I got to high school.
Yeah, 100-yard dash, baby.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, it wasn't a football field. You ran the entire football field, meaning back of the end zone, the back of the what goal line, I think it is.
Yeah, I think it's 110 yards. I think 100 meters is 110 yards.
Right. Yeah, so back of the end zone, the goal line. Yep. That's what it was, because that's the only way, you know, that's what I had in my head when I lined up. It would be, let me go run this field. But here's the bad part about football players. When we have to run the field, that's during their punishment. So it was a bad look. We don't do track well. That's a bad look, all because we think, man, coach say get on the line, boy, that's a bad thing.
But what's your thoughts, man, about her getting suspended for marijuana? I mean, what's your thoughts? Is it right?
It's horrible to me. Obviously, there's no studies that show it gives you any kind of advantage. However, a rule is a rule. But I mean, players use it, and the ones who talk about using it, when I say players, I'm not talking about Olympic athletes, but other sports, mainly Orlando sport, who don't test for it. They talk about it a lot about helping with pain and injuries, and the NFL is taking another look at it, MB, and trying to figure out what they're going to do about it. I don't even remember, MB. It was a big talk before the CBA, and after the CBA, I don't really remember too much what they came up with, but I know a lot of players were trying to get them to allow them to utilize it. NFL is as strict as the Olympics when it comes to testing, not the frequency, but what they're testing for. So I hate the fact that she's not cheating. It's not like doping, but it's against anti-doping policy. Mm-hmm. And you know how it is. It's going to be a stain on her career. And then I think she's showing her youth a whole lot right now because it's Olympic time, huh? You left college in 2019 to gear up for 2020 Olympics. Obviously, COVID happened, and then you just couldn't stay focused. And to her, I don't know. When you look at her situation, I was brought to it even before I read the article, because I remember after she ran the 1063. They interviewed her, and she said, "Oh no, it wasn't after 1063. It was after she won the Olympic trial." And they interviewed her, and she was excited, and she said, let out that her mom had just passed away.
Yeah.
And so she ran up as soon as when she won Orlando. She ran up into the stadiums to her family, to her grandmother, and just held her grandmother. So she talks about that. She talks about, her hurting. She says, we all have our different struggles. We all have our different things we deal with, but to put on a face and have to go in front of the world and put on a face and hide my pain. Richardson said, who are you? Who am I to tell you how to cope with when you're dealing with pain or you're dealing with a struggle? I'll stop there, but it seems like she was talking to us. Like, when you look at me, think about yourself and how you deal with pain and how others deal with pain. And she's basically saying, I was going through a rough patch, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, my take on it is, I feel bad for her. I don't think I agree with you. I don't think it's proven that marijuana is a performance enhancement drug, but I also know a rule's a rule.
Right.
And here's the rule. And we live in such an individualistic society, and, look at me and what I'm going on. And I respect, what she's going through. She's going through dealing with some very difficult stuff right now. But unfortunately, a rule's a rule. And the rule, and it's not like you were shocked by this. I mean,
absolutely,
you knew the rule when you did it, and so there's consequences for it, and it's unfortunate. And again, I want to make sure you guys understand, and the people out there understand. I'm not downing her, or I don't think she's a bad person.
Right.
I just think. She flunked the test, and the circumstances say that you get suspended.
Tell you what, though, it's a whole lot to lose. It takes a lot of steam out of the Olympic team, at least on the women's side. It almost ensures a goal for Jamaica, and then it puts in jeopardy the 4x1. Now, they did say it's possible that if she can prove that, she didn't use it as a performance enhancer, kind of to go right along with what you just said. I don't know how she could have, but basically, if she improved that, it goes down from 4 years to 3 months, and she might be able to run 4x1, which will help in that cause. However, in the Olympics, however, I just, that's a tough task, tough ask. Hopefully, she's able to do that. But man, like you said, Orlando, a rule is a rule.
Yeah. I read something recently where just so I don't know if it's a later article, but they said that she agreed to a 1 month suspension.
Oh, okay.
So then now which now will allow her to be on the 4x1 team, but it's up to them to choose her.
That's an easy choice, MB.
No, I'm just saying it's up to them if USA Track and Field governing body, they would have to make if they want to have her, because they can choose up to 6 athletes to be part of the pool,
MB, they trying to win.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't leave the fastest player on the team at home. You know they would have left me, Orlando. The boat would have pulled out on me. LB, they wouldn't have pulled off. They say, "Hey man, we gotta wait.
Yeah.
We gotta wait." Hey, coach, we gonna start the game on a 15-yard penalty. Call them and tell them to give me 45. If we get 15 minutes every 15 yards, give me 45 minutes.
Yeah. But you just like, I agree with y'all. You just hate the fact, rules are rules, and you just hate that for man, it's just tough, because like you say, they have a long list of stuff they can't take. There's certain like cough medicine they can't take, certain aspirin, they're very particular about what you can and cannot take,
And again, guys, for an Olympic level athlete,
right?
This conversation has been held with her 100 million times.
No. Don't do it like that. She's really 1 year out of college.
Okay.
Yeah, it don't matter.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Okay, Lou. For an Olympic level athlete, her coaches has talked to her about this since she was 14 years old.
But we see this all the time with rookies in both our leagues, in NBA.
But it's not like they had never heard it.
Right.
They may still screw up.
They
heard it.
I had no clue. They gave us a book this big talking about drugs you can't take. I said, you know what? I ain't taking any supplements anymore. I ain't taking no vitamin. I cut everything out.
Let's forget about.
I'm like, bump that book. I ain't taking nothing.
Let's forget about the specifics. Let's forget about that. Let's think back when you were in high school. Okay, when you were in middle school, whenever it was apparent to somebody that this guy has a chance, somebody mentioned to you about not doing drugs.
Listen, I get that, y'all, but I'm just gonna say, don't forget, she really only 1 year removed from college. It ended up being 2 because of COVID, but like, she's not like this vet out there that understand, like, all this is brand new. She has no idea what's going on. As far as like all these
nobody in her life has ever said to her.
Oh, you talking about weed? You talking about she done had that conversation. And guess what? All of them smoking it.
Again.
I'll say not all, but a larger percentage than when we were in school, and they just continue to do it. So
I'm gonna go back and say I don't think bad of her. I think she's a great person, and just because she flunked it, I don't think bad of her. I'm just saying she knew.
Man, y'all gonna get off Shakari like that, man. I done said what I had to say, man.
Yeah, no, but K-Lou, it's a little different from football to track, because track, especially if she running Junior Olympics and all that stuff, a lot of the drug rules are very similar. You're aware of that, So football wise, I mean, shoot.
She just was at LSU. She wasn't running that's when they breaking records.
Junior Olympic stuff, rules are rules. I'm sure
no, you talking about AAU basically.
I'm talking about Junior Olympics rules. I'm sure.
Hey, K-Lou, do you know how? I don't know what they did when you were in school, but I left college basketball 4 years ago. They drug test all the time.
Right.
Well, that's new. That's new. When we were in school, you had that one hitter quitter at the beginning of the year. I ain't seen him again.
Okay, well, and she's
college.
2 years removed, so she's been through drug test protocol.
I'm telling you, it's a lot of, and it's similar when you talk about that track, man.
But the problem is,
it's similar.
The problem is though, in college, I remember the boys talking about how to beat them. Right. You get any of those kind of substances that show up in that test that you tried to beat it with, and you're in bigger trouble. So
now you get your stuff because they've gotten pretty advanced in that now.
When you at LSU, man, their track program is elite, man. I'm sure their drug rules are the same as the standard. You know,
I'm just saying she's a youngin. That's all I'm trying to say.
I understand that, but I get more sympathy for just the fact that the trigger was her biological mom died, and the way she found out when she was doing an interview that her mom died, you know? So that's to me was like crazy. So
that's tough.
Yeah, so that I can understand in that way, you know, I get more sympathy for that way, but not the fact that she probably didn't know it, because I know with her talent, especially she went to LSU, from that standpoint on, if you go there, they educate on all the do's and don'ts, you know?
Well, okay. Well, I hate the fact Coach Borden ain't here today, MB, because he ain't getting no more kids. Now, he going to get all the kids in school if he round there at these dealerships trying to get these deals down, because name, image, and likeness is official. And them boys at the U already ready. Well, at least Derek King is ready, LB. He already got him something working in the background. But these Florida Gators say we already been thinking about this. We done lined some things up. This is a recruiting nightmare. I tell you what's about to happen, because they gonna let you know, hey man, you driving this and you living like this and you get this in your pocket. Is it just going to be the Wild Wild West out there? Because there's not very many rules that I can figure out right now, guys.
So I'm going to jump in there and answer this. For the first couple of years, it's going to be Wild Wild West because there is no rules. There is no rules right now. I can't remember the school. I can't remember, but they sent their boosters a letter saying that, you know, if you want to pay one of the players for signing autographs or showing up at whatnot, you got to do it at market value. Well, they asked, what's market value? Don't know. You know, there is no market value set yet.
Right.
It's not one. I also read a college basketball coach, a tweet he had, and I won't call his name, but he said, instead of going out recruiting this summer, I think I'm going to spend more time setting up jobs.
Hey, you just heard me say what Coach Moore out there doing. That's why he can't come on the show. He out there at dealerships and restaurants trying to put deals together.
Right. Yeah. So this is going to be interesting. I'll tell you another thing. You know, and a lot of these kids are signing with companies, but what I've noticed, man, because there was a lot of companies that just popped up, you know, because they knew this was coming. Right. They wanted to get involved. But what I've noticed, a lot of kids are doing things on their own. You know, different dealerships or local deals are reaching out to these kids, and they're saying, "Hey, you know, we want you to," and so they don't need an agent or a go-between or anything like that.
Well, look, and so here's what's interesting. If you're going through the school, like you just gave that example of a booster going through the school, hey, I like, you know, Adrian Peterson and Johnny Manziel. Okay. Is the school getting a cut?
Well,
I told
because
a
they
friend of mine,
rolling the deal. They
I
working
told
the
a friend
deal.
of mine last night. I said now the real NCAA, they're gonna show their real colors now. And I should say, I am going to say NCAA because it's all under one blanket. Their real colors gonna come out now because what's going to happen is instead of me paying the University of Miami to do my banner up in the stadium or paying for advertising and marketing, no. I'm just going to go to the quarterback.
Right.
Him.
You're right.
And now they're going to start losing those dollars, and all of a sudden, they don't want to lose those dollars, brother. Right. So they're going to jump in. They're going to do whatever they can to get a piece of it.
Because can you imagine? Can you imagine?
More than the street hustlers and the agents, more than them, the schools are going to be they're going to be worse than the street hustlers and agents. Watch.
Well, one thing I saw is that a few schools, they have hired marketing firms to assist the athletes.
So man, that's them getting a cut.
Well, I don't know what's the deal if they get.
You're right.
They getting the cut because who you think getting into the door marketing firm wise?
Yeah, like I say,
we getting the cut.
I'm sure they are, but the schools are hired. Like I see Clemson, they hired and a lot of top schools at Florida Gator, I think, open dose marketing company and stuff to assist these players with that. So I don't know what the deal with get a cut. And then the other thing, like even BYU, they hired somebody called Build for Life, and the way they're firming it also to help the athletes as far as with financial planning, taxation stuff, and all that stuff.
All them getting the cut.
Yeah. So I know from that standpoint, those schools are getting involved that way, whether they get a cut or not. Some schools at least trying to get a grasp on it, but because the rules are is no uniform rule. Some schools, like you talked about Orlando, they came out with rules where you can't have any marketing that's conflict to their sponsorship.
Oh, there you go.
So, for example, like you can't have, if it's a Nike school, then your player can't wear Adidas. You can advertise Adidas off the court or off the field, but on the field you can't have. So they trying to limit it some type of way. So and then for me, I think also like because you see now the governors are coming out and giving executive order for national NIL as well. So
right.
I'm sure from a political standpoint, they're in the governor's ears trying to set up the restrictions because in each they're right now NCAA is letting each individual school, if you don't have something already in place from a state level, they're allowing the schools to try to set the criteria and stuff like that. So I'm sure schools are trying to get it done from a legal standpoint, get the politicians to get out there and get stuff, put some parameters and some restrictions in place as well.
Hey guys, I can see this. I mean, I could see it coming. I wish I'm sitting here like I can predict the future, but let me tell you.
Yeah.
I didn't know Clemson had hired a firm.
Yeah.
But what I did know was their starting quarterback has signed with his own group.
Okay.
And so what's going to happen in a situation like that? I mean, I've been on too many college campuses. That phone's going to ring in Dabo's office from the AD. And one of the assistants, one of the dudes that are recruiters and is close to the players, they're going to have that dude and they're going to say, hey, man, you got to talk him out of this. You got to get him to sign with our people.
Yeah.
Right. There's a cut involved there. And they getting cut out the deal, but this guy on his own signed with another company, and that ain't gonna go over well.
Yeah.
Yeah, even with these kids and their platforms, if you think about it, they get a free Orlando backstage pass pre and post game. So let's say even if I am at a Nike school, I'ma still rock Adidas.
Yes. Yes.
You gonna see me rocking Adidas pre and post game, and it's gonna mean the same, if not more, because these kids, like I was, remember that overtime thing. I'm sure you done heard more about it. These kids following it's rivaling these darn colleges and universities, like individual following. So I think, when you tag Adidas and match it up with the quarterback's name, now you're getting Adidas followers are immediately added to his followers, and shoot, it's as big as Nike. You know what I mean? So I don't see where that's gonna stop a kid just because I got to wear Nikes for 60 minutes. Ain't gonna stop me from wearing Reebok or New Balance. Like, I'm getting it in.
Without a doubt, it won't stop. I'll tell you a story about that. Obviously, kids today, Nike, Jordan. I mean, it's big.
Right.
We were in Adidas School, and the Adidas rep came to campus one time, and we had to have a meeting because every last one of our players was wearing Nike. Yep. Like, we didn't tell them they had to wear Adidas in practice.
Right.
We had to wear them in the game, though.
Right.
But walking on campus in practice, they all had on Nike, and the guy was livid about it.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do, man?
Y'all ain't paying for these boys' shoes, you know what I mean, except for what they're playing in.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. And think about it, these kids they're in their own reality shows, Listen, they Instagramming and Snapchatting all darn day. And so you will forget they're Nike school as much as you see him in Adidas. You gonna think they're Adidas school. If you're a fan of the quarterback.
This may be off the subject a little bit, but I got to bring this up because you told me this, and you talked about this overtime deal. But did y'all see that the one ball son, the one that's not in the NBA,
LiAngelo,
just bought a house for $3 million?
There it is.
Who's that?
The kid that didn't make the NBA, LiAngelo Ball.
Oh,
right.
Gotcha.
Just purchased a house for $3 million on the Ball compound.
Right.
Now, all came from Facebook.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, man.
Wow.
You told me, Caleb.
Wow.
It's way bigger. And I just was trying to say to y'all then, it's way bigger than you think. Like, I'm watching kids who are not, like, y'all never heard of and won't hear of them, but they hooping. And they huge on YouTube, huge, and huge on Facebook and Instagram, and they're making a living and a killing doing that. It's where we are. So this name, likeness, image thing, hey, the floodgates done open. I don't know how you rein it in once it's out.
Yeah,
I don't think they did this. The NCAA, again, fought it tooth and nail to the bitter end. They were wrong with that instead of trying to prepare and look at how do you monitor this and what parameters and restrictions do you put on this? Because I think it blows a hole in it, man. And I'm ready for the Super League. That's what I wrote. When the Super League happens.
You think they will soften their stance on guys like Reggie Bush? Like so the Heisman Trophy people recently came out and said that if the NCAA reinstates him, then they will give him the Heisman back. Mm-hmm. Do you think they will soften their stance over the next few years based on, okay, man, all these dudes are making money now and he really didn't hurt nobody? I mean, You think they'll do that, or are they gonna stay hard, fast, hardball? We're not budging on old stuff.
I think they will, just because the Heisman, first of all, they're not under any authority, so they can do whatever they want to do, right? The Heisman, when you talk about that, and then they didn't even give the award to anyone else. They got.
But Heisman said they will give it to him if the NCAA reinstates his records or his yards and all that.
And I think they will once they start being able to pay players.
Yeah,
I don't think we're done with we're at this just name, likeness, and image thing. Like, we're not done here.
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
I don't think they would, Coach O. And the reason being because he's not the only dude that's got affected by this or in the past, right? It's
right.
I was reading a couple articles and stuff of how you got like this one dude, he was a cancer survivor, and he wrote a book on that, and he got ruled ineligible because he wrote a book and he was receiving funds from that. You know, it's like countless people's. I think a soccer player, same way. You know, is the guy who was an Olympian skier and he was trying to play football as well. Bloom. He got suspended for a season. You know, I just think if they try to do that, then it's going to open up the floodgates from that. I think they're just going to say he violated the rules at the time, and it is what it is. In that opinion, I think so from an NCAA standpoint, you know? I don't know. I just think it'll just open up some floodgates.
Well, look here, y'all. I think right here, y'all heard it on this show first. We told you no one wants to play with Luka. I think you heard it on this show first, baby. We told y'all. They ain't nobody trying to play with Luka, man. And now you start. Yardbarker came out with an article that explicitly stated that they've been around the league and guys are saying we don't want to be there. Now, Mark Cuban came out afterwards and spoke saying, yes, they do. They want to play. But that's what you're supposed to say, Mark. You have a vested interest in people playing with Luka. But the two main stars, that one that left, your head coach, and the second one who wants out of there now, are saying something different.
Well, I'm gonna say two things to that, and you know, it's interesting with kids today, players today. I'm calling these guys kids, but players today, in that, you know, go back and think about it. Now, when I say these names, I don't mean I'm comparing Luka to these guys. I'm just saying, like, who enjoyed playing with Kobe? Right. Who really enjoyed playing with Michael Jordan? Like, I mean, you hear stories all the time about those guys. So, you know, I don't know how much of a winner you are, or like, I'm down on the guy that says, I don't want to play with Luka because he yells at his teammates. Come on, man. Like, I don't know if I want you.
Right. Well, and that's what the guy said. He said they don't want to play with him because he was yelling, and he yelling at the coach, yelling at the players, and yelling. So I was looking at the same thing. It wasn't based on the skill set. It's based on the fact that he was, like, you know, yelling at dudes and getting your face. And then you look at the one article where allegedly, like, he got on Unicorn because in the playoff they went to LA and Unicorn went to the strip club. You know?
Yeah. So I mean, what's wrong with that?
Yeah. So I don't know from that standpoint, unless he, you know. So from a yelling at, if that, because I remember, I don't see it as see it like that. You know, based on what the article the story said, they don't want to play. It's some people that may not play one because he's gonna yell at you. I'm like,
I can't believe you two are looking at this that way. And the names that you gave. Why did guys still want to go there in droves? Why?
I mean,
they wanted to win.
They wanted
there
to win.
You go.
Yeah,
so, but they all had to prove themselves of being a winner first before guys would come for the same reasons. So he got to win. And I said it in the beginning. He can't win. Showing up to the playoffs. I mean, listen, everybody making it now. So don't hand me that about he making it to the playoffs. He's gonna have to show that he can throw a team on his back and win. You don't see people running out there to Dame, and Dame don't come with none of the baggage. They ain't trying to run out there to Portland either. You got to show yourself to be a winner. They don't care if you're nice or mean, but you got to be a winner, and then they'll come. He's not winning. He's not going to win. And thus, nobody's coming out there. They're going to have to draft a second star. If Mark Cuban's able to draft a second star, then that can happen. But that's the only way.
Yeah, for me, like I said, I understand what you're saying. But with the article coming out saying that they don't want to play with him because he's going to yell at you, yell at the coaches, yell at the ref, and yell like that, I'm like, child, please. I'm like, Coach O, I mean, it had to be a little bit meat on the bone. Like, if they were saying, man, he's a ball hog, you know, which is ball dominant. But but the article didn't say any of that. It just said,
I know that though. That's what I said. I just throw that article out there for some proof. But I said that.
I was looking because I was doing some more research, and I'm looking for like, okay, give me some more meat than that. That's just a little Scooby snap when you say because he yelled at you. I'm like, that ain't enough meat on the bone. I'm looking for the dirty stuff, like, oh well, he's not a good teammate because he da 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 da. He's a ball hard. He's spoiled brat. He this and that. Then I'm like, oh okay, I don't want to play with that dude did. But I in my research, I didn't get none of that. You know?
Name me a great one. Name me a great one that didn't yell at you. That wasn't competitive. That their competitive drive didn't take over at times.
Yeah, y'all still keep ignoring the fact that he's not a winner. Like y'all throw this.
How long has he been in the league, K-Lou? He's been in the league.
This superstar thing and this great thing, man, everybody great, man.
K-Lou, how long has he been in the league?
Everybody. Like,
Jordan,
everybody great.
Look at it, and trust me, I'm just saying, by no means I'm about to compare to Jordan, but you say he ain't a winner yet. When did Jordan start winning?
That's not my point. He was
he's not a winner, though. He's got to be a winner, but people see like you see it's like a stock, like you see.
And what happened to Mike? They drafted Scotty. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
and then after they drafted Scotty, he became a winner, and then people wanted to come there. I just said the same thing about Luka. They're gonna have to draft the number 2. That's what I said. So you brought out Mike. They need to go the Mike way.
But also I agree with that. But you were saying that, and I don't have no problem with that. But when you say that because he's not a winner, I'm like,
he's not a winner. Jordan wasn't either.
Yeah, what about LeBron? LeBron was 6 years in Cleveland.
Exactly. And dudes wanted to play with him.
6 years.
Hey, but that's a different. That's a different guy. That's a different mentality. LeBron, think about it. He tried to get his crew into the league. I mean, and he figured out they couldn't make it to the league, so he helped them do some other things. But that's an AAU mentality. God, listen, he's that guy grew up he was the original AAU guy, the new AAU guy that, hey, we ain't playing against you. We want to play with you. And that's what happened. That's who LeBron is.
I'm just saying, when you talk about because he's not a winner, use that as an excuse that nobody want to play with him because he's not winning yet. I'm like, man, this dude is either Ray Charles can see like this dude got talent, and if I got opportunity and money, if I got opportunity and my skills fit well with him, and I want to win, I'm like, man, I may go and partner with him. Then you factor in Mark Cuban, the aggressiveness, and they're playing. It's like picking a stock before it's like picking an IPO. You catch it before it hit the market.
Okay.
And I just see it. But like I said, with the whole thing not playing for him, I was hoping it'll be a little bit more meat on the bone other than he yelling at the players or the refs. And I'm like, come on, it's got to be some more meat than that.
Just remember.
And I know where there's smoke, there's fire. So I'm expecting some more juicy stuff to come out than what just came out, though. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I pointed out earlier that this was going to be a problem, trying to partner him with somebody. The reason why I threw the article out there was to support that. So I wasn't really concerned in all the reasons and rationale that they had. It's going to be hard because he's another James Harden to partner anybody with him. It's going to have to be a big, guess what? They got him that you can pick and roll with. Guess what? They got him and he can't get along with him. So it's a problem. To get rid of Porzingis, you're going to have to bring another one of him in. So the only way you do that is through the draft because obviously there's not a lot of Porzingis is walking around the NBA. That ain't happening. And
I'm still going to go with my deal, and I don't know how good Porzingis really is. Like, I like him. He's talented, but the unicorn, and he got all this, but I'm still not sold that he's a number 2 guy.
But see, to me, if Luka's the guy that y'all think he is, he's creating and making it easier for him because we do know he can stretch the floor. We do know that he's 7'3". He can dunk it. So, I mean, with those, heck, we watched James Harden make Clint Capella during All-Star. Like, he averaging double-double and was nothing like that. We've watched Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan still owe him money. Like, come on, we don't even know DeAndre Jordan's name if it's not for Chris Paul.
But
playmakers can make that stuff happen for you. He's not capable. That's all I'm saying.
But Unicorn, you can't make plays if you in the training room. He's been hurt.
That's not what Orlando's saying, though, MB. He's saying that when he's on the floor, he's not that sure anymore. That he's the guy that's the point. Like, not that he's not even on the floor. He's making a comment based on what he's seeing him do on the basketball floor. And I'm saying on the basketball floor, Luka's not getting anything out of him. And we've watched playmakers do it with worse. That's all I'm saying. There's no way you're going to tell me that DeAndre Jordan's anywhere even now Porzingis' talent, and you're not going to tell me that Clinton Capella is anywhere near his talent even right now, and you questioning that, Orlando.
And I'm understanding that clearly. I'm just saying the dude's, because of injuries, man, to me, I don't know if he's still back yet from it. It's still a big question mark. Usually it takes you a year after ACL. But I think because of other injuries, this dude still haven't hit his rhythm yet, you know? So I don't know. He's that's what I'm saying. I'm saying he's been hurt. The hurt process has affected his development. And I mean, it's hard. I mean, it's hard to get that mojo back if you still keep getting hurt all the time. That's the point I'm making.
Well, look here. Bucks win and go up 3-2 without Giannis, man. Giannis looked good sitting down on that bench without Trey being on the other side. First, Orlando, this is the first time we got you back after talking about Trey and what Milwaukee wasn't doing with Trey. Obviously, you only got to see him for 3 quarters or what? No, 3.5. I think it was 8 left in the fourth or something like that. Right. When he got hurt. Did you do your research? Were you able to see what they were doing and what'd you come out with, Coach?
Pick and roll.
Well, now you guys gonna kill me because I did not.
Oh, man.
And I apologize about that.
We couldn't wait. We wanted you back immediately just to see what you saw. Because you know me, I saw the next night 6 open looks. The very next after we spoke about it.
Right. But now what I did, and to your point, what I did see was I didn't think Milwaukee made a big time like adjustment to we need to change this. Like I saw I'm gonna pronounce his name wrong, but the head coach, it seemed like he's kind of set in his ways. This is how we do it. This is how we're going to do it.
We see that all the time.
Yeah. and so he didn't make many changes. And, luckily for him, Trey gets hurt.
Hey, MB, I'm a man-free team. I bump and run. Hey, MB, he ain't got but 1.5 corners. And they playing spread. And you like, Coach, but that ain't what we can do.
Right. Right. Exactly. It don't fit. But no, he didn't. They didn't make no adjustment. They just did what they normally do. And then he just, missed some shots. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Atlanta is the one. Atlanta added some more variations to the pick and roll. Because then what they started doing when they make the switch, they started taking the bigger guy and use him to post up the guy. So he'll get a smaller guy on him, then he'll go post the smaller guy up on him for the basket. I say Atlanta's doing more. They making more another wrinkle to it.
Yeah,
adjustment to it. And I said Milwaukee didn't do anything because anytime you see he'll make that switch, get Brook Lopez on him.
Right.
And Brook start backpedaling and he start attacking him,
It's over there.
But you see the difference in this game last night. I mean, Brook was a whole different player. The pick and roll just don't look the same without Trey,
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So Brook is a whole lot more aggressive. He ain't backpedaling. He wasn't backpedaling a lot this past game with Trey not being in there. So, but I really didn't see any major adjustment. And I think also what I would do, I mean, who's ever on Trey, whoever's Trey defending, right? Obviously he's hurt now, but I was like, man, they need to go at that guy. Make him work on defense more. you know?
Yeah, and that's never been a strong suit for Trey. Although I will say, you know, and when I say this, the basketball purists out there gonna go crazy, but because he's not good. He's not a good defender. But with me, he's been at least given an effort.
Right.
Like his effort has been much better on the defensive end. But
and
that's
whoever he's doing, they're not even putting pressure on him. I would be like, you know, obviously he's out right now, but I was like, man, when I watched the guys, like, why ain't he like getting some set plays, make him work on defense, you know?
Right.
Post this little joke up. Because I saw a couple times he got matched up with somebody, they post him up, you know? I was like, I would keep doing that, you know?
Well, remember Chucky Atkins, 12-year NBA vet, coach early. He got on here and told us every time, I think it was Allen Iverson, when he had to play him, they like, look, go.
Oh yeah,
like,
he said Doc would make him work.
Right. He like, look, yeah, Doc said, hey man, go try to hit 40. Just so he got to defend somebody on the other end. He can't camp out and take a break and then go down there and kill you. So, you know, I mean, I guess it's too common. That common sense too common. Go.
Well, I agree with that. And also I'll say this. I mean, you know, they're not going to put AI on or Trey on they're going to try to put him on the worst offensive play.
Right.
Correct.
So basically, when you tell that guy to go get 40 on AI and he's not capable of getting 40, then I think, you know, the AI's team may win.
Well, hey, let me throw, and I agree with you, but let me say this. I'm going to take the same vein out as pick and roll. Whoever's Trey guy, I'm putting him in a pick and roll, and I'm going to have a better guy switch up on him.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to do what they're doing, just how they like who's ever the center, like Brook Lopez, that guy, they're using that guy to pick for Trey, you know? And
yo, let me tell you, I gotta tell you a funny story about that. so MB, you know this guy from some Zoom calls we have, but there's a guy named Lorenzo Romar. Okay. He's the head coach at Pepperdine.
Oh yeah.
So he said they were playing. I think it was pickup. They were playing. I'm not sure if it was in a game. And Doc Rivers had the ball, and they kept saying, one of the other guys kept saying, make him go left, make him go left. And he come down again, make Doc go left, make him go left. They came down again, make him go left, make him go left. So the fourth time, Doc Rivers called for a pick and roll so they could switch. And then when that guy got on him, Doc said, now you make me go left.
No doubt, that's good.
I don't know. You just make it seem like basketball the philosophy is a whole lot different. Just like, hey, we're gonna try to do our stuff. Everybody's stubborn. More than that, them two or three football coaches we done ran into that had to get fired because they believed in their stuff.
Right. You know what? I think basketball guys get caught up into that. I think, you know, once the 3-point deal got going and you know, everybody's like, hey man, you got to shoot the 3 to win. You got to win, but you know, by shooting the 3, and they get stubborn by it. And I see where it hurts teams at times. I mean, you know, the other thing I fail to understand this, you know, I guess I see both sides, but why you got a guy like Kawhi Leonard, okay, and you're playing somebody, you playing against Dallas with Luka Doncic, okay, like, and Kawhi Leonard is guarding Finney, like, wait, what are we doing that for? Put him on Luka. Like, why wouldn't you put him on Luka? Now, I understand you don't want to put him on Luka for 40 minutes, but in this particular game I'm watching, the score is a 1 or 2 point game with 2 minutes left in the game. Well, at that point,
he's on Luka.
Hey, and that's why I start going off on them allegedly being the best two-way players in the game because of that attitude. Like y'all ain't gonna tell me they the best two-way guys and they ain't guarding down the stretch the last 2-3 minutes. LeBron James in his 30th year still doing that. The last few possessions when the game on the line. Listen, I don't care what that happened before. I got him.
Exactly.
But see, that's not coaching. That's you. All of us have been in that situation where you're like, bump that, I got him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Man, it's like bump that. Yeah, he ain't gonna beat us. I'm putting it on my back. If they beat us, it's on me. I'm locking him up. I'm going walking out here to this number 2 receiver, or I'm got this back. You know, we locked up. Listen, if we lose, it's gonna be on me. I'm not gonna watch one of y'all make a mistake.
Right.
And see, that's outside of coaching. And that's why I don't throw that great player and superstar stuff around like y'all do.
Like what child play? like K-Lou, who you say superstar? Who you consider superstar in the league?
Hey man, don't do me like that.
Yeah,
we gotta move on.
Like
Should Giannis sit out for the rest of this series, or unless there's a game 7, Orlando?
Well, if there's a game 7, we're gonna go into that conversation that we're just having about the superstar. If there's a game 7, he needs to be Willis Reed. Like I'm walking back out the locker room. I'm limping, but I'm getting my team to the finals. Like in a game 7, he's got to play. Now, if Trae Young's out, then game 6, yeah, I could see sitting him out and playing. But game 7, he better be Willis Reed.
Hey, so you want your one layup and back to the training room? Yeah. Don't nobody tell the rest of that story. I don't know why he checked in. He got a little layup and he checked out. Hey, in everybody's mind, they stop it right there, LB. So you be thinking, man, he probably went for 30 after then. No.
But it's a great story, though.
Now the Suns make it to the NBA Finals, y'all. I think this is got to be probably I don't know this for a fact. I ain't hear this, but it's got to be the greatest turnaround ever in NBA. When you look at the modern history, at least I don't ever remember a bottom feeder becoming immediately a champion or in the championship the very next year. And this wasn't even by way of draft or tons of trades. Like this roster didn't really change much. That's what I mean. Well,
it changed a little more than you think. And I would say the draft, and I'm gonna say this right now. As much credit as Monty deserves, he's been unbelievable. But James Jones from the
Come on now, talk to him.
What the moves he made? Now he didn't draft Booker, okay, but he brought Paul in there. He brought Jay Crowder in there. He drafted a kid from North Carolina.
He brought Monty.
He made the Bridges draft. Like he's
I'm talking about 1 year, y'all. That was over 3 years. You're talking about now.
Well, right, but
I'm talking about from last year being second to last in the West.
Yeah, but
I'm talking about just from last year to this year. That's
okay. Listen though, but he drafted those guys, and he's building this thing, and he brought in Chris Paul and Jay Crowder, who helped do what they're doing now. I mean that's James Jones made that decision to bring Chris Paul.
Right, but it wasn't a 1 year wonder. You look at last year; they finished undefeated in the bubble. You saw the progression, getting better and better, and then boom, it just take off. And
then his decision to hire Monty Williams, he's, again, I'm not taking anything from Monty because Monty's done one heck of a job, but the job that James Jones is doing is remarkable.
Come on, man, he was he just won Executive of the Year. He just won the award.
Deserves it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Deserves it.
But K-Lou, I don't see this. I understand your question, but I don't see this as as a 1 year like turnaround. I see this thing been building.
I hear you, MB, but it is what it is.
No, it's not, because you look at it, the foundations, this thing's been building for the last 3 years, and it just now, boom, it's hitting on full cycles. They're ready to go, That's what I'm saying. I think, I don't know, like, when I think of 1 year wonder, I mean, I don't know, maybe the Boston Celtics, where they got the big three, and I don't know what they were before. I don't know, I'm just guessing. And they turned the thing around with Garnett and those guys right away, go from the bottom to the championship. I'm trying to think, but I don't know. I don't see that as a turnaround.
Derek said that the 79 Supersonics, but I just throw it in there. The 78 ones went 52-30, so that wasn't.
Yeah. I don't see them.
That wasn't no bad team. That's it. Yeah. This NBA, listen, this NBA season to me, y'all, this one should really have an asterisk by it, man. When you look at this thing, and I was talking to one of my boys yesterday morning or morning before about this. I say, you look at the teams. You got Utah, you had Michael Conley Jr. and Donovan Mitchell missed time. The Clippers, obviously Kawhi Leonard. Denver, Jamal Murray gone. LA, LeBron and AD. Philadelphia, Joel Embiid missed time. Trae Young and Giannis, and then of course the debacle in Brooklyn with James Harden and Kyrie. Listen, and even I gave you some credit, MB. I went all the way back and said the Heat and Victor Oladipo, man, this got to be the worst season for injuries and stars ever. And I looked it up this morning in preparation for the show, and guess what? It is. I found an article, and I'll read it to you, Orlando. It says this increase of injuries was even more pronounced when focusing on the league stars. This season, all stars missed 370 of a possible 1,944 games, the highest percentage in a season in NBA history. They missed an average of 14 games this year due to injury. And so, although in the beginning they were running statistics earlier, these things have turned around. And although you're looking at the grand scheme of things and saying majority of the players, but basketball is different, you guys. I don't care how much basketball purists want to tell me all the time, but it's a game, it's a team game. No, it ain't. It's a star game. And whoever has the best and most collection of stars win. But when your stars get hurt, you're in trouble. And I've never remembered watching Mike go down during the stretch run or the playoffs. Like I don't remember Isaiah going down. I don't remember Kareem going down, Magic going down, James Worthy going down. Hey, Klay Thompson dad and Michael Thompson going down. Hey, Kurt Rambis going down, baby. Y'all can tell where I was now. Michael Cooper going down. None of my boys was going down. Now these guys flying out left and right, man. This too much. I'm going to pose this question, Orlando. Is AAU finally killing everybody?
Well, LeBron has been on this big deal about, just the turnaround on these guys' bodies with the bubble and the short seasons and the quick turnaround. And the NBA came back with their study saying that he's wrong, that, the injuries are about the same or maybe a little less. But I think the point you made is the injuries may be a little less as a whole, but the stars.
Yep.
Going down the way they have this year has affected it and has made a big deal. But there's no doubt, I'm not a medical doctor, of course, but there's no doubt that the wear and tear on your body through all these AAU games, through all this, no season off, and everybody's got a personal trainer and they training year round now. I mean, guys don't take time off. I mean, they don't get time off. I mean, these guys are going to Tokyo.
Yep.
These guys are getting ready to start training to go to Tokyo. They went from a shortened the bubble. So they came and played this year. They're gonna go to Tokyo and then they're coming right back.
Right.
And they got all these internet sensations. Man, go with these internet sensations. Set the boys over there.
Right.
Hey, the viewership will be off the chain. I don't know if we'll win any games, but we gonna watch. We gonna tune in.
Right.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's the reflection when you talk about that. Like, you look at that Milwaukee Atlanta game and you're like, man, Brook Lopez, the superstar. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it was like basically both superstars on the bench, and it was like, man, I ain't gonna disrespect it like a replacement, but it was just like, God, this is
it's ugly.
It's like, man, like you want to see your stars play,
right?
And so obviously to this level, statistics. So like you mentioned that a lot of superstars missed a lot of games this year. So I don't know what that's about, but man, it's tough.
I mean, you got the whole MB. You look at the entire playoffs, and it was completely the predictions went out of the window, not because people were wrong, but people didn't play. Like, you know what I'm saying? People were hurt. It wasn't the team that you were really pitting against the other team. And that's that. I represented 9 teams. That was just my little quick going through. Oh, yeah, I remember this guy got hurt. That guy got hurt. I probably missed some other teams, but that was 9 teams. It's only 18, right, Coach? What, they show up with 18 for the playoffs?
Yeah, 8, well, it was 10 play with the 2 players, but
10
total this year, but the because you had the 2 playing.
When you got the final, when it really started, it's 18, right?
Yeah.
And you saying half of the teams, and those teams that I named were all pretty much all contenders. When I say contenders, I'm talking about for real. Like,
injury definitely play a role, and you hate to see that. You hate to see that aspect of it, especially on this level where the star players are.
Because if we think about it, I only remember this with a team here and there. Really, Golden State is the only team that jumps out at me as like, man, we all know it probably would have been different. There's no other year I can remember that I'm saying that I'm not saying, like even with the Chris Paul gets hurt, in Houston.
Yeah.
It's still like, well, yeah, you say that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's still, but these are like surefires. Like, oh no, man, Golden State ain't losing to them. You know what I mean? Like, and I only remember that with Golden State. When you start going after that or before that, however you look at it, everybody was at full strength. You know what I mean? Like, so to me, they holler at me by, do I accept the trophy last year? Everybody was ready. Everybody had their guys. That's all I count. Did was y'all ready to be locked and loaded? Yes. Okay, let's go. We don't care. We playing at the park, baby. Get right. You got your guy.
Right.
Yeah.
This situation, nobody had their guys. Nobody. And that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, like
again,
you didn't see it at this level. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Coach.
And no, I was just saying that the NBA came out with an article, like, because LeBron went at him pretty hard. And, they were fighting it, saying that the injuries are the same or maybe even lower. But to your point, though, that it's the stars that makes it that bad.
Right.
It's the stars.
Right.
Yeah. One thing that came in mind, like you say, you never had on this level. But you mentioned your Lakers, and I remember when Kareem was hurt, Game 5, and Magic stepped in.
That's right.
But you seen it like you see it like that sporadically like that, but
right.
In this numbers, man, it's like
the other thing that I remember a lot of different injuries. Like we can sit here and talk like when Detroit played the Lakers and Isaiah Thomas severely sprained his ankle.
Exactly.
But those dudes seem to somehow play. Like, those dudes played, man. Isaiah played the next day. I mean, he was limping but he played. So
Derek feels the same way, MB. He said all this technology and the money that these players are accumulating now, why these players aren't better prepared for injuries. Derek, I think they are. I think they're even more so prepared to these guys that Orlando's even speaking of, but you got the amount. That's why I posed the question to you, Orlando, that you didn't answer. These guys ain't play basketball year round. These guys are now playing year round from third grade. Okay.
Yeah, no, I said
third grade. That's why I said AAU. I skipped. You heard me. I skipped NBA, high school, and all that foolishness because AAU is what's putting miles on these kids. They don't have an off season. AAU tournaments are year round. It's a break during high school time, but only for that age group. The younger ones are still running.
And these trainers out here who, you know, they're in it to make money, man, and they're training these kids, and they got to make money. And so these kids are going all year round. So I agree. I do want to say this to Derek with his question. You're not going to ever stop the injuries. But to your point, with the technology and the money that's floating around now, the ability to get back is better. Like the treatment, the rehab, to get you back on the court is better than it was in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, just the surgeries are better. I mean, basically you had they didn't have a scope back then. You had cartilage, and then they took the whole cartilage out, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, a dude now, if a dude tears an ACL, like literally, truly, they think he comes back better.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a little like the Tommy John surgery. They say, well, now when they give Tommy John, it's stronger. Like they can make it better than it was, and that's the
bionic man, baby.
Yeah, that's the thing with ACL now.
$6 million man. We can build him better, stronger.
Wow. Well, and then my final question, Orlando. Listen, this is how I see it. I look at games like this, and especially after all these stars going down, I ask, well, my mama, Vanessa, will she be watching this game, the finals? No, she ain't watching no Suns Bucks finals. She just ain't. Ain't enough star power. She is not tuning in, not one game. And she going to ask me at the end of, well, Kevin, who won? Because ain't no stars. She'll watch it. If it's some stars, she ain't messing with that, man. So that's how I look at it. So when your mama watch the game, baby, that's how I look at this.
You're right. There's not a lot of star power in it, but there are some great storylines.
Oh, damn.
And so, you know, it is. I mean, it's great storylines, and the media, they're going to do a good job with it. And I think the numbers will still be good in terms of however they rank it, watching percentage, whatever they say. I think the numbers would be good. I mean, you got Monty, whose wife died, passed away a few years ago, and you know what a great story he has. You got Chris Paul. You got the Greek freak who never even like he played in a Division III league in Greece, and you know now he's a superstar in the NBA. Right. They got storylines that'll build it up, but does it have star power? No. Is it Magic versus Bird? Is it LeBron versus? No, it's not there.
Right.
Well, they lost me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, especially to me, like if the freak play, you know, if the freak don't play, golly, then now at least if he play, you think the matchup when you look at the teams, obviously we're assuming Milwaukee get there, is that it's going to be a great game, great series, you know, if the Greek is healthy and able to play, you know, so. But you're right. It definitely lacks that star power.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate it. Go ahead.
No, I said I agree with what Derek just said. Great story.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, we appreciate you coming through again, Orlando. You spit some game to Alice. We show love upset with you though. Yeah, come with that. We wanted to really know because me and LB was interested.
And you know what? I apologize about that. And here's what I'm gonna do to make up for it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a little 5-minute segment. I'll make it quick. After every finals game,
There it is.
I'll give you a breakdown from a coaching offensive defensive standpoint.
There it is. There it is. That'll more to make up for it, MB.
All right.
Appreciate you, old man. Thank you, man.
No problem, guys. Take care.
Hey, man, enjoy your 4th of July, baby.
I will. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, we appreciate y'all stopping by, coming through, pulling up, hollering at us, because you know us from sideline to baseline with MB and K. Lou. We are gone.
Peace.